It's the Abba podcast. Let's go. And we're live on the podcast with the next guest. We got our dear brother and boxer, Youssef. Youssef, how are we, brother?
Very well, Abbas. How are you, my friend?
Not too bad, not too bad. Tell us a bit about yourself. They give you the nickname Uwee. How'd that come about and it stuck?
Yeah, Uwee's been stuck with me since I was a young kid, man. I've had it since I was a youngster, and just it stuck with me. Didn't really come up with any boxing monikers, to be honest. So I've just left it as it is.
So talk to us about boxing. How did you get introduced to the sport? Was it something you always aspired to be, or did boxing find you?
Yeah, definitely. Look, obviously, growing up, I've grown up around it. My brother, obviously, Billy, is accomplished a lot in the sport. So just grew up around the gym, man. I've sort of wanted to do it since I was a youngster. For whatever reason, man, it never really happened for me until, I finally had my first amateur bout at about 17 years old. And then it's just been smooth sailing from there, man. I've just fallen in love with the sport and just making sure that I'm, trying to follow in these large footsteps,
Yeah, look, large footstep they are, because you come from a world championship household. How's that pressure?
Yeah.
And look, you've seen world championship camps, world championship training. How was that as a youngster? And was that something that you aspired to be, or did it just fall into place?
Nah, look, to be honest with you, by the time, Billy had won his first world title, I was already, delved deeply into boxing. It was just ingrained in me, man. I wanted to do it from a young age. Like I love to train alongside him. I remember being 8 years old, asking Billy to put me on the pads. Even younger, when he was, making videos and stuff, I'd jump in on the video and like, yeah, show me. And it was just something that I really wanted to do all my life. I sort of got pushed away from it by my family. Obviously, it's a hard thing to take when you've already got one son boxing. They didn't really want to see me do it as well. I was doing quite well in school, so they tried to push me away from it as much as they could. But passion's a passion, man, and I just stuck at it until they finally allowed me to have my first fight. And yeah, in terms of the pressure, I don't really feel it, man. It's my own journey at the end of the day. I know that, Billy had to work extremely hard to get to where he got to. And obviously I'm going to have to follow in that lead. I have to make sure that I work as hard as possible, because his runs on the board aren't going to do anything for me. I've got to do my own thing. I've got to follow, like I said, forge my own path. So yeah.
Yeah, forge your own path you have done, and we'll slowly get to that. I could only imagine in the Dib household the nerves a fight week, or another youngster wanting to take the same path as Billy, because something you might not know, Jihad was my principal at Punch Bowl.
Oh wow! Okay, amazing.
So fight week, we all knew he was a bit off, because he's invested in Billy and he's trying to make sure that everything's going smooth with Billy. So I couldn't imagine you wanting to follow suit, how that was in the household.
Yeah, look, like I said, they all sort of gave me, look, they couldn't push me away from it completely, but they all sort of tried to tell me, look, there's other things in life that you can pursue. And, like I said, I was doing quite well in school, getting good grades. I completed the university degree and everything to make sure that, I had something to fall back on in case, boxing didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. But look, to be honest with you, my heart's always been there. So I've just made sure that I've done whatever I could do to show them that, you know what, okay, this kid's going to give it a go. We can't really stop him from giving it a go. If he's going to put his heart into it, then, all the success to him. And like, I'm thankful, man, because even though at the start they didn't really want me to do it, they have supported me all in their own way. I've got a lot of brothers where, we're seven siblings in my family. So it's a large support network that I have just in my immediate family. So, look, they've all supported me in their own way and done whatever they could to help me follow my dreams. So I'm very thankful to all of them as well.
Yeah, look, family support's important. Now, talk to us about your early days in the gym. What were the struggles or what adversities did you have to overcome your early days in boxing?
Yeah, so look, originally I was looking to fight when I was around 14 years old, 15 years old maybe. And I was hanging around in the gym, I was training, I was trying to like get ready for fights. And funnily enough, man, it was sort of working against me that I was Billy's brother because, obviously I was a novice and there was other kids who were novices and Billy already had a name and things like that. So when they sort of heard that I was Billy's brother, it made it a bit hard to get me matched and stuff. And obviously they couldn't match me against guys who had a lot more experience and stuff because, you just don't know how a kid's going to go. So you sort of want to evenly match kids, especially at that stage. So it just didn't work out for me, man. So to be honest with you, I put it on the back burner for a few years until, I couldn't get rid of the itch. And to be honest with you, I remember I was hanging out with Mohammed Zaidan, who I know that you had on your podcast pretty recently. And look, he could see obviously the passion that I had for it. And he just kept telling me, he goes, man, just give it a go. Like, you're a bit older now. Give it a go. Even if you've got to fight a kid that's a bit more experienced. And, and I did that. I had to beg my family to allow me to do it. And I just told them, look, it's just going to be one. Just let me feel it. Like, let me see what it's like. And I promised them that it would only be one. But, once you get that one out of the way, and I got a good win against a kid who was 5-2. So he had 7 fights already. I got a good win against him at Bankstown PCYC. And it rolled on from there, man. So they couldn't stop it after that. That's it. The momentum was on.
So talk to us about your amateur career, the role that you went on. Who was your coach at the time? Who was monitoring and making sure you were putting in the hard yards in training? And then fight night, who was in your corner?
Yeah, so I had, obviously, Billy, by the time I started again when I was 17, Billy was training under Billy Hussein and Hassi Hussein and the likes of that Body Punch boxing gym. So I wanted to follow suit. I really liked what they were doing, the basics, the fundamentals. Obviously, Billy had come from a bit more of a Larry background, in his earlier part of his career. And they were the ones to sort of slow him down and really teach him, I wouldn't say like the fundamentals, but really like drill in the fundamentals. Like, because, Billy was a great fighter by the time he got to Billy Hussein and the likes of at Body Punch boxing gym. But they really slowed him down and turned him into more of a complete fighter, more than just a flashy fighter. And I really liked that. So I really wanted to go there, and I started with them, and I'm still there, and I will be there for my entire career.
So tell us about the culture at Body Punch, because it seems like whoever goes there finds a second home. They find mentorship, guidance. Yeah. It's more than boxing. Everyone that comes on the podcast, because we've had Belal, we've had Zaidan, and now we've got yourself. We've got Luke Jackson scheduled, I think, for later on in the week. They all say the same thing. It's more than just a gym. Tell us a bit more about that.
Definitely. Look, for Billy Hussein and Hassi, who who have a big stake in Body Punch boxing gym in Lakemba, and then obviously Skinny's got his counterpart in Preston's. But look, it's they've grown up around it. They've been around boxing for 30 years plus. Hassi has been up there, Skinny's been up there. They understand the ins and outs, but they also understand that, look, it's a dangerous sport. So, they'll never put somebody in the ring who they don't think is ready. They don't do it for their own benefit, man. Like, many people will tell you, look, boxing gyms aren't the most profitable, businesses, but look, they do it for the love, they do it for the passion, and they just make sure that all their fighters look up. And Hassi is that, like, they're people that I can lean on in hard times. They're people that I can, get honest assessments from. And yeah, man, like they've from the get-go,
Yeah, look, it's really important once you find that team, because like you know yourself, boxing's a very lonely sport. You couldn't really imagine going through all that without that network that you've created.
Nah, definitely not, man. It's a tough sport, like you said, lonely sport, and it's a one-on-one sort of thing. But when you've got a good team behind you and they're backing you, and doing everything to make sure that once you step into that ring, you're 100% ready. Like that's invaluable, man. There are, unfortunately, a lot of trainers out there for their own egos, and doing things because, you know, they want the spotlight. It's definitely not like that at our gym. You know, Billy Hussein and Hussey, they sort of shy away from the spotlight a little bit, you know, and they want it to be all about the fighters. They just do the hard work in the background to make sure that we're ready to perform.
Yeah, that's true. Look, I can attest because I did approach Billy to come on the podcast, and he's like, let's keep it more about the fighters. He doesn't want to really take the attention or the limelight
Yeah,
off, you know, you guys, which is exactly what you're saying.
that doesn't surprise me at all, man.
Yeah, no, look, he's humble and is as humble as he gets. But your second pro amateur fight, I got sent a photo from one called Slip. You mentioned him a bit earlier. He tells me he was in the corner. Talk to us about having him in your corner. How was that?
Like I said, man, he played a major part in me actually following and pursuing what I wanted to do. You know, he was the one that sort of pushed me over the line and said, look, if you want to do it, man, just go and do it. Like, don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't do it. Don't let anybody tell you, because being the youngest, I'm the youngest of, like I said, 7 siblings. Being the youngest, man, you don't want to disappoint anybody, you know. And all of my brothers and my sister, they've lived successful lives, and you know, they've done things right, and they've lifted my father's head, they've lifted my mother's head. So I never wanted to be the one to disappoint, you know. So you sort of get a bit like that when you're the youngest. You're like, you don't want to disappoint people. But it just ended up being, look, if you want to do it, which was the advice of Muhammad, if you want to do it, man, go out, chase it. He goes, I can see something there. You know, so early on in my career, yeah, he was definitely a major factor. Having him in my corner was quite fun too. We had a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, he's a character, Slip, man. I'm telling you, he was messaging me all day. Make sure you mention this story. Make sure you get him on. Make sure he's a champion. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
we've got it cool. We've got it down packed. His schedule is coming on. He's going to tell us a story.
Nah, he's a top guy, man. I got a lot of love for him.
Yeah, look, he's a champion. But let's go back about yourself. Now, your style is a bit different to Billy's. You both have that flair, but you come out, you're a devastating puncher. You pack a lot of power with your punching. Is that something you're conscious of, you train of, or is it something that just came naturally?
Look, to be honest with you, for me, I wouldn't call myself like a devastating puncher, but you know, I do know that I got a bit of pop, and I am confident to sort of sit in the trenches and have a dig. You know, Billy was a very slick boxer, and he still is. He's a very slick guy. He's got, you know, all these sorts of moves and teaches us a lot in the gym. But for me, I just wanted to get the fundamentals down pat, because I realized from a young age that, you know, like all of the fighters that have great fundamentals, they're the ones to have great careers and like a lot of longevity in their career, you know. And I think for Billy, it was very important that he got to Billy Hussein when he did, because, you know, when they were able to slow him down and you know, like just fix his defense and make him more of a complete fighter, in that, yes, he can really box, but there's times where somebody's going to be outboxing you, you know. So you've got to lean on other attributes. So to be able to sit down, to be able to hit the body well, things like that. So that's definitely something that I've always been conscious of. And look, it's always a work in progress, man. I'm nowhere near the finished product, but things are getting better. And, you know, each camp I can feel myself sort of maturing as a fighter. And look, you know, a lot of fighters will say that every camp is their best camp, but I can honestly and confidently say that this camp leading into this fight there's just been a different level that I've gotten to. And, you know, I've just learned so much about, you know, it's not just about boxing. It's about what you do outside of the gym. You know, it's about your nutrition. It's about your recovery. And that's all part of your maturity process, man. And I'm so thankful for the people that I have around me that have helped me learn all of those things. You know, it's not just Billy and Hussey there. I've got an amazing strength and conditioning coach in my best friend, Bassem. He has lifted me to another level. Like, you know, I've changed in terms of my mentality. I've changed in terms of my physicality. So, like, there's just people around, and it's funny, people come into your lives at different times, and they will just play their part, man. And I just feel like everything's fallen into place for this fight, especially.
Yeah, look, this fight, we're going to get to this fight, April 9. You got Hunter Lawayne, who's someone who's got a good record, it's got a big test, it's a step up in competition. And I've seen the back and forth with your best mate and your strength and conditioning Bassam on social media. It's a relationship that's very interesting, and it's a good one, eh?
Yeah, definitely, man. Look, I've been best friends with him since high school, and it just turns out that he's become an amazing strength and conditioning trainer, and he's offered me a lot of time, and he's given me so much support. And we really focused and honed in on making sure that I was physically at my peak for this fight. Things like that. The solid foundation. The legs, the things like that. I've never really been one to love the strength and conditioning. I always liked to do the boxing. I never really enjoyed the nitty gritty, but now I really am starting to enjoy that, like the little 1%ers that are making all the difference in the world.
Yeah, look, those 1%ers, you're going to hopefully see the fruits of their labour, inshallah, April 9 against Hunter Lawayne. How's camp going? How is the body recovery? And when are we going to be peaking?
Yeah, look, obviously now we're about just over 3 weeks out now. Like I said, man, it's just been an amazing camp. I've been in the gym like non-stop constantly since I'd say October. I was coming off elbow surgery, so I had some time off before that, before coming back to the gym in October. But since October, it's just been, all guns blazing, man. I was getting ready to fight on January 30, which didn't come off, unfortunately. I had a couple of opponent pullouts, and there just wasn't enough time to get a suitable opponent. So look, I stayed in the gym after that. We really, like I said, got stuck into our strength and conditioning piece under the tutelage of Bassam, and man, it's made a massive difference. He's taught me so much about nutrition. He's taught me so much about, my lifting has things like, and we're not bodybuilders, so it's not really that important, but where I felt like I could improve on was definitely my strength, and my strength has increased. I'm happy to say that I'm 45% stronger than what I was before I started this camp. So I'm coming out to prove that and make a big statement on April 9.
Look, on April 9, we've got Youssef Uwee Dib. He's going in 14-0, 7 knockouts, ranked number 5 in Australia. And he's here now telling us that he hasn't even hit peak strength or peak performance.
Nah, definitely not, man. Look, I've definitely flown under the radar. I've sort of bided my time. I've trusted the process. Like there were times where I was like, man, I feel like nobody knows who I am. Like it's okay, he's just Billy's brother, but nobody really knew like who the real Youssef Dib is. And I feel like that this fight is a perfect opportunity to prove to people that, you know what, wow, this kid is not just Billy's brother. This kid is a kid to be reckoned with. So like I said, coming out to make a statement on April 9, and Ioane, he has got like that sort of mentality that he thinks that he's going to come and be able to bomb me out in a couple of rounds, which is, he's going to fall right into the traps that we're going to set up for him. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge, man.
Yeah, look, a challenge indeed. Like we said, styles make fights, and you're both coming toe to toe. You both have the styles to mix that up. But like you said, you both are going to want to test yourselves, put yourselves in the pocket. April 9, the co-main event. There's a lot of eyes, a lot of people watching, and especially with the times, because everyone in Australia is going to stop to see this, because this is going to set you up for a title challenger eliminator in Australia.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, this one has actually been approved for the Australian super lightweight title, which is news that I just received very recently, man. So we haven't actually put it out there just yet, but I'm happy to announce that it will be for the Australian super lightweight title, which is a big thing for me, man. Look, it's probably something that eluded me in the amateurs, and I feel like it was eluded unfairly. I reached the Australian National Championships by winning the New South Wales title in the amateurs, got to the Australian title final in the lead up to the Commonwealth Games against a kid by the name of Jason Malia, who's a very good boxer in his own right. And to be honest with you, I definitely feel like I did enough to win that night. A lot of people in the venue felt the same way, and that's always a disappointing thing when people are coming up to you saying that, look, mate, you got that, you should have won that. And look, that was the lead up to the Commonwealth Games. So I missed out on a massive opportunity, obviously. So this is like, okay, now here's my chance for a bit of retribution. Let's just say, winning an Australian title in the pro ranks is going to be sweet for me.
So yeah, well, now the stakes are much bigger. April 9th, we've got an Australian title on the line with Youssef Dib up against Hunter Loane in what's going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah,
Like, you got to pinch yourself, because talking about stepping out of the lot, because with the Dib name, you're going to have the likes of your brothers, your siblings come up. You're now starting to break away, and people are going to remember you for what you're going to achieve.
yeah, and look, that was something for me that like I said, I'm trying to step out of the shadows, and I'm proud of what my brothers have accomplished. I'm proud of their successes and things like that. So for me, it's like, okay, here's my turn now. Here's the youngest that's coming up in the family that's about to, like I said, forge his own path. So it's a very exciting time for me, man. It's got me very, very motivated.
So if you didn't even need more motivation now, you've got a young family, so you're providing and you're trying to show them the ropes where you can forge your own path, because later on, inshallah, once they grow up, they're going to see your career and follow you very closely. How does that feel, and does that give you added motivation to forge the path for your children to look at you one day?
Yeah, definitely. They're always going to be your main motivation. And, my father is my greatest role model. I've got many great role models, but my father is the greatest role model of all, because he sacrificed everything to give us the lives that we have. He left his home country to come over to Australia. He left Lebanon, came over to Australia to make sure that his family was going to be provided for, in the best possible manner. And that for me is a massive motivation. I want to make my father proud. I want to make my siblings proud. I want to make my wife proud. I want to make my kids. They're a bit young to understand what's going on at the moment, but one day they will look back and they will say, you know what, our father did great things, and that's what else do you want in life, man.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, the satisfaction of your family, yourself first and foremost, and giving back and showing your children in the future that, look, I had a dream, I pushed, I pursued, and then I made my passion and my dream into a reality. Is not many people, not many parents can say they did that.
Now, especially for me, like I said, being pushed away from it, and for me, it was sort of like always a constant battle to do it, and like it's only been really recently that I've focused on boxing full time. So for a long time, I was very lucky to be working alongside my brother Emad, who has a very successful car detailing business and car wash. And look, he supported me so much and gave me so much, and things that you can't let other people get away with. Where for me, taking time off before fights, leaving a little bit earlier to get to training, coming a bit later because I had training in the morning. He just supported me and backed me in so many ways, and it was very, very hard for me to have to say to him that, look, Emad, I'm going to take this on full time. I met a beautiful person who gave me that opportunity, who backed me and allowed me to do it. And, he probably wouldn't even want me to mention his name, but he knows who he is. And he's, given me this opportunity to do this full time and not worry about, all the other little things. Like you said, I've got a young family and I have to provide. So it was the, incredibly hard decision to make. But look, I know that things are paying off now, and I can see that, how I've changed just in this camp. And this is my first fight since that change and taking on boxing full time. So I'm so excited to come out and show everybody what I've got, man.
Yeah, look, you're like a lion roaring, ready to go, high risk, high reward. You're coming for that title, you're coming for that strap. Then do we know with the team, have we started to look what's next, or we're going to focus on April 9, take Ramadan, and then see what we're going to do towards the end of the year?
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, obviously we want to build momentum. And my career has been a bit of a stop-start career in the pros. I got off to a flyer. I think I had 7 fights. My first 7 fights were all in a 13-month span. And then I sort of, I got married and things like that. So I just put the handbrake on the boxing career for a little bit, as it does. And then, I built a little bit more momentum, and I was getting ready to fight for the Australian title against a guy named Steve Spark, who is from Queensland, and he's forged a pretty good career himself. We were two young guys ready to go up against each other, and I was struck by an elbow injury. Something that I've been dealing with for a long time, to be honest with you. But I remember being in the gym and I was sparring, and I couldn't throw my jab the way that I needed to throw it, and I was pretty much a one-handed fighter. And I remember after a sparring session, Billy Hussein pulled me to the side and he said, "Look, I know this is a massive fight for you. I know that you're really excited to fight for the Australian title, but I can't let you go in there, as a one-armed fighter. It's just not fair. You're going up against somebody who can actually fight. Somebody who's going to give you a lot of resistance. So there's no point going in there at 50%. Let's take the fight when we're at 100%. So like I said, I ended up getting my elbow sorted. It did end up needing surgery, which was regrettable, but at the end of the day, man, it happened in a good time with COVID. I was actually getting ready to fight in a regional title fight, which was going to help me earn a top 15 ranking. And COVID hit. We had the opponent set up, paid for his visa, everything was ready to go. And then obviously when COVID hit, look, it just hit everybody, man. And things happen for a reason. But I got my surgery done post that, and I'm so grateful that I did, man, because it makes a massive difference to be able to jab. So, yeah.
Mate, if you talk to any boxer and tell them you can't, jab, I don't think they'd even think about fighting, let alone taking a title fight, man. So, look, it's good to know that you have supportive people around you that have your best interests at heart at all times. Because it's easy. They could have said, look, we've paid for his visa. He's coming here. You got to deal with it, wing it, and you can pull it off if you're good enough.
Yeah, look, like I said, Billy Hussein is definitely one that would make sure that his fighters are 100% ready before they step into the ring. And you can only appreciate that, man, because he's got a duty of care to his fighters, Like, it's not a game. It's no joke, man. Yeah, you've got somebody's life in your hands, literally, while you're in the corner. So, there's no one that I'm more confident that he's going to do the right thing by his fighters. And I'm so happy to have him.
Yeah, look, it's not something that happens, it's not something that's a given. You look at Glenn Rushton, Jeff Horn's coach, for the world of me, he didn't want to throw in the towel. It wasn't even him that threw in the towel. Look at commercial boxing trainers that are only there for a payday, or they're only there to take from a guy's name. Especially with yourself, you've got a big last name, and anyone who knows Australian boxing, it could be a real easy task for a coach to take advantage of you. And that's one of the benefits of Billy Hussein and Body Punch in Lakemba and the affiliates there. It's because they actually have your best interests at heart rather than themselves, which many other trainers do.
Yeah, look, I don't doubt that Glenn, didn't have Jeff's best interests at heart, because obviously they'd been with each other for a long time, and he probably felt like, what, I know my fighter more than everybody else does, and there was that massive uproar. But to be honest with you, look, I didn't agree with him not throwing the towel in, but at the same time, I can't step to the line of saying that he doesn't care about Jeff Horn. I'm sure that he loves Jeff Horn and things like that. He made obviously a massive error in judgment, and he probably, his ego didn't allow him to throw in the towel. His ego didn't allow him to admit that he had made a mistake. But I think deep down, when he goes to sleep at night, he does think about that, and he does think to himself that, you know what? And look, Jeff's had an amazing career too, man. What they did together is admirable. So, I still think that Glenn is a top line trainer. He's probably learned a massive lesson, man, and I really hope that he has.
Yeah, look, sometimes even might come from the fighter himself that says you're not allowed to throw in the towel. And then there's a duty of care as a coach. You probably got to put your principles, your values and morals ahead of what the position. Even if you get sacked, at the end of the day, the duty of care is to the fighter. You got to protect the fighter from themselves. And that's something Billy Hussein has, and he has in abundance. He's done it time and time again with Luke Jackson, yourself, and the whole team. He's always put your health and priority first before himself. And that's a testament to your team and yourself and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, very grateful to be a part of it, man. And it does, upon reflection, man, we do really need to be very appreciative of the environment that we're in. We're in a top line gym. We've got great fighters around in our camp. We've had, amazing fighters, from the likes of Luke Jackson, Paul Showtime Fleming, Bilal Dib, My brother, just obviously skinny, hussy before that, just there's just been so many great names that have come out of Body Punch Boxing Gym. And, hopefully I can lift the name of Body Punch Boxing Gym as I progress through my career too.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we see the Dib name, right? The Dib name gives you notoriety, and people in Australia are going to gravitate towards you and connect with you because of your name and your family and your heritage, and also what you're going to do in the future. With that, in the past, you had people like Kai McKenzie, and you called out George Kambosos at one stage. Talk to us about the name and how you feel other people might want to gain some notoriety off your surname.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, at that stage of my career, it was more about, I was thinking to myself, like, I couldn't believe the disrespect that these guys were sort of, it's not a big deal to be wanting to fight somebody, but at the same time, when somebody's had the runs on the board, then, I'll liken that to probably at this time between Liam Wilson and Bilal Dib, who Liam's trying to sort of feed off Bilal Dib's name, obviously. And look, good luck to the kid. He's doing what he needs to do. And obviously you do want to fight the best fighters, but at the same time, you've got to understand, man, people have, invested so much into their own careers, put the runs on the board, beat the right fighters. And that was pretty much my message to Kai McKenzie and George Kambosos at the time, was that, get to that level first before you call it. And, you want to get to that level, no problem. Come through me first. And I was more than happy to face both of them. I'd done exhibition with Kai McKenzie in the amateurs. I actually fought George Kambosos in the amateurs as well. And I was very confident in my own ability that, I can hang in there with these guys, and not just hang in there, I can actually beat these guys. So look, what they've done since, how they've gone on in their careers, credit to them, especially George. George he stuck to his guns. He went over, and like I said, man, I did feel some sort of disrespect towards my brother, and that made me, have that sort of invested emotion. But, good luck to the kid, man. He went out, he did what he needed to do to get his shot. And, now he's got probably the biggest fight that an Australian boxer has had in recent years. So I wish him the best, man. And, I know that he sort of put to bed his beef with my brother, and, was quite respectful the last time that he saw him. And I can respect that, when somebody sort of owns up to their mistake and says to them, says sorry pretty much. So good luck to him, man.
Yeah, no, look, at the end of the day, everyone's on their own path and their own journey. And that was more so to show that you're defensive to the surname and to your brothers. And you got the skills to back it, because you fought both of them in the amateurs. And it's not something that you'd ever shy away from a fight, no matter who the fighter
Never.
is.
No, never, man. I was a 7-fight novice when I fought George Kambosos, who he had probably about 75 bouts at the time. He had 1 New South Wales titles, he had 1 Australian titles. And I remember, pushing for that to go into that. And George was in the tournament, and Val Borgs, there was the Georges, the Val Borgs. These guys were experienced in the amateurs. And I was fighting in the elites quite early in my career, because I was a little bit older. And I remember a lot of people in the gym were like, Youssef's going to go in there and he's going to get pummeled. And, I ended up drawing George first. And I actually, it was a top effort from a kid who had, 7 fights on. It's something that I'm pretty proud of, because, losing by 2 points in the amateur point scoring system to a guy who is, over 10 times more experienced than you, that's a great effort. And it gave me a lot of confidence that, you know what, man, I'm a lot better than I even believe. I know that I've got the skill set. I know that I have the ring IQ to actually hang in there with these guys. And man, that's put me in good stead my whole career, to be honest.
Yeah, and it has. Look, talk to the people about the experience that you get from competition and testing yourself in those moments, because not a lot of people have done the walk that you've done. Just give them a bit of an insight on how it feels and how it is to actually test yourself.
Yeah, like you said, man, any boxer who sort of walks into that ring understands the sort of feeling that you have, like going into battle. It's pretty hard to explain, man, but there's just so many different emotions coming in. Like, have I done enough? So many different thoughts. Have I done enough? Did I eat right? Did I train right? so many little doubts, and then, I've done enough, and you're sort of having this, or you're waging this battle in your own head to sort of convince yourself, like, like I'm sure many fighters would tell you to tell you the truth. Many fighters at that moment, if they can run away, they'd run away. But it's too late. You're there and you're there. You've put in the hard work. So you just go in there, you give it your absolute best, and you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But at the end of the day, man, it's a real test of character. And I'm so proud of any boxer that really steps in, man, whether, they're journeymen who have got, negative records, whether they're.
We've momentarily lost Youssef Dib, who's currently talking about journeymen and people and the experience that you have getting into the ring. Now, I'm hoping the technical difficulties do pass and we regain connection with Youssef. But basically, he's talking about the experience of a fighter and the pressure and to come out and perform and put everything that you've learned in the gym into the ring. Now, it's taken longer than usual. Yeah, Youssef, we're back. So we just lost connection with you. The last we remember you saying was the feeling of being in the ring.
Yeah, so like I said, the feeling of being in the ring, man, it's the truest test of character that I reckon, and that's why boxing is rated as the hardest sport in the world. It's nerve-wracking, it's exciting, there's so many different emotions that you feel heading into there, but the endorphins that you feel after a fight, especially after winning, makes everything worth it. After you've lost, the emotions that you feel after you've lost that's another amazing thing, man, because we're humans and humans are all emotion, man. So at the end of the day, to be able to feel something, that's a great thing, man. It's a great thing.
Look, it's an interesting experience. It's hard to describe, like you've said. Like, I never forget in my first competition, you ready? I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Why am I doing this? I'm not even getting paid for this. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. And then, like you said, after the endorphins, win and loss, because the highest of highs and the lowest of lows are in the sport, because at the end of the day, nobody can save you bar you once you're in there. It's a unique experience. It's something that you really need to do. And it's an appreciation, because a lot of people sit on the side and say, do this, do that, do this. But you come and do it. Why don't you come and show me how I'm meant to do this?
Yeah, look, there's always going to be those sorts of people, no matter which field you're in, man. Whether you're a boxer, whether you're a rugby league player, whether you're a businessman, there's always going to be somebody who is a know-all. But at the end of the day, man, you just do your thing, trust the process, and like you're going to reap the rewards, man. And there is reward in losing too, man, because at the end of the day, you learn so much about yourself. You learn that you can come back from devastation. That's an amazing feeling in itself as well. I took my losses in the amateurs, and some of them were more devastating than others. But the amount that you can learn from a loss was, obviously you don't want to feel it in the pros, because there's such a how can I say it? Having no losses, massive emphasis on that. But there's still great fighters who've taken a loss. There's many great fighters, even early on in their careers, they took a loss, but
Yeah, Yusuf, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. You're now back. If you don't move it, because once we move a bit, there's a bit of clicking.
No worries.
So all good, bro. So the loss is not. Yeah, I don't think it should define a fighter, because the emphasis in boxing is the O means everything. Talk to us about the pressure of some, because you got the O as well. Talk to us how conscious of you in every camp, making sure that O stays.
Look, everybody's sort of trying to follow that Floyd Mayweather model, and it's probably worked against boxing in that, you look at the UFC, there's great fighters there that have taken a loss. You look at Israel Adesanya, who took a loss the other day, but he took a massive step up, man. He stepped up to a different division. He, tested himself truly, like against a bigger guy who he shouldn't even be in the ring with, but like he still has that respect that he's the best middleweight in the world. It shouldn't be like that, man, but unfortunately it is, and we just got to sort of play the numbers game a little bit. But look, if I were to have it my way, man, the best would fight the best, and it wouldn't matter if you really took a loss, because if you look back in the old days, man, how many great fighters have 30 losses, 35 losses, and they're considered the best of all time. Like the best of all time had 30 losses, whereas Floyd Mayweather, who's the best of this era, has 0 losses, and that's probably got a lot to do with society, and how society is at the moment. Is that we believe that you've got to be perfect. No, nobody's perfect, man. Look, Floyd Mayweather isn't perfect either because he took losses in the amateurs, and I'm sure he'll tell you that's what really spurred him on to be undefeated in the pros. And if you can, of course, you never want to lose. That's the truth. But at the same time, man, if you do take a loss, Canelo Alvarez is the best right now. He's got a loss on his record, man. So it shouldn't mean all that much. Unfortunately, it does. So we've got to sort of play that game. But I'm sure, look, God forbid, if I were to ever take a loss, I wouldn't let it define me, man. I would let it spur me on. I would learn from it, and I'd go on and do great things, I'm sure, still.
Yeah, 100%. And look, boxing has taught you a lot, right? How has being a Muslim boxer helped you progress in your career?
Wow, that's a pretty simple question, man. Because as as a Muslim, we live clean lifestyles, or we're supposed to live clean lifestyles. And to be honest with you, all the greatest boxers, that's what they do, man. They live clean lifestyles. They'll tell you, like, I'll give you an example. You've got like the Ricky Haddons, who in between fights he blew up. He was drinking a lot and doing all the things that he shouldn't do. Probably on the drugs and things like that. And whilst he was a great fighter, it shortened the longevity of his career. Whereas somebody like Floyd Mayweather, who he puts in the work, and he might look like he's all flash, man, but at the end of the day, the guy just puts in non-stop work, make sure that he lives the clean lifestyle. Obviously, didn't smoke, didn't drink, and that for me as a Muslim, that's what's helped me, is that knowing that. And at the end of the day, it's not just that, man. It's just having faith that I know that whatever is going to happen for a reason. So I can take the setbacks in life. I can not so much dwell on the little things that happen in life, understanding that there's a bigger picture. So for me, that's helped take off the pressure of, I don't really think about losing too much, because hey, I've gone to that edge, I've gone to that cliff, I've been there, and it didn't define me, man. Like at the end of the day, it didn't make me any less a person. It's, if I were to take a loss, God forbid, it's not going to make me any less of a person. It's not going to make me any less of a father. It's not going to make me any less of a husband. And look, that's the main thing in life, man. Boxing is a major part of our lives, but it's not the only thing in our lives either. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially when people are setting themselves up to fail, when they see boxing as a be or end all. Look, they might lead with that O, but then you look at Floyd Mayweather and you ask the question, are you really happy and content with everything that you've achieved? Yeah, it looks like you're still chasing something, and you're always going to be chasing your tail, because it's if you're looking for money in this world, money's only going to take you a certain part. If you're looking at that zero, it's only going to take you a certain part. Where in the context of being a Muslim, it completes your life, where it puts everything into context. There is a reason for everything, the greater good. We're not invincible. We're all mortal. We're not immortal. So it gives you a context where it kind of, it
grounds you. It really does. It grounds you, and that's probably Floyd's biggest problem, is that he hasn't really been able to be grounded, So at the end of the day, look, he's living that flashy lifestyle, but like you said, is he truly happy? God knows what's going on in his heart, really, and man, like for me, may everybody be guided to the straight path. That's how I feel about things. So, at the end of the day, man, let everybody do their thing. The truth will be revealed one day anyway, man.
100%. And like with every camp, you get humbler, you get closer to God, you actually start to realize how dependent we are. So it's a means of getting closer. Nobody's saying that every camp you're getting further from God. No, you can use boxing as a way to help people, influence people in the right way, and show people how you can be better, rather than you see on the streets, the thugs and the people who act like gangsters these days. Bro, they can't last a week in your gym because, their ego and they just can't do the work that you've done. They feel that they've proven. They've proven nothing. They're proven to people that aren't going to talk out against them.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, that whole sort of mentality and sort of I'll call it thug life approach, it's something that's never interested me, man. And I'm so glad that even though I grew up in an area which a lot of people would say, oh, there's a lot of people like that, being Green Acre, man. At the end of the day, I had very positive role models in my life, and my father, in my older brothers. My eldest brother, as you had, who was your principal, like you said, he's actually 20 years older than me, man. So I've always had somebody to keep me in line and really, like don't be a dick. You know what I mean? Just be yourself. People are gonna love you for who you are. It's not about who's the loudest in the room. It's about honestly, man, that's not what it's about. You could be the quietest in the room yet have the biggest heart, and that's probably an approach that I've taken on in life too, in terms of getting closer to God and things like that in boxing. Man, at the end of the day, you learn so many lessons through boxing. There's so many things that you take out of it, and then I'm a much better person than I was when I was 17 years old before I started boxing. I was probably one of those kids who was a bit like, my brother's a world champion, and things like that. And just looking at him and how humble he is, man. He'll take time to take photos with kids. He'll sign autographs with kids. He's got the best smile I've ever seen, and he's happy to flash it everywhere. So for me, it's like, okay, now I understand why. Since I started boxing, man, it really does ground you, gives you that humility that everybody should have.
And everybody will see April 9, Youssef Dib is fighting for the Australian title. Watch his space, watch his path, follow his journey, because he's going to represent himself, his family, and his religion with honor and pride as he takes his next step in his boxing career. Youssef, this camp, tell us about this camp. We're going to go into the opponent and the specifics of this camp. It's a first camp, you're full time, you've got the support and the backing. Who are the people pushing you behind the scenes, making all this happen?
Yeah, look, like I said to you earlier, man, people come into your lives at different times, and you can't really understand the reason why, but because they say that God works in mysterious ways. So at the end of the day, my path throughout this camp has been so clear, and it's the most confident, and knowing that I've really put in the work. I've had people pushing me, but at the end of the day, it came down to me and what I really wanted. And that's what I found out, is that what do you really want? And when the person who backed me, when he came in and sort of gave me that talk and said to me, listen, do whatever you want for a year. I don't care if you don't want to box after this year. He goes, just find out what you want in life. And I really found out, like, this is all I want in life. This is what I want to do. This is what I know how to do. I'm sure there are other things that I can do, and I've proven that. I was managing a very successful business, for my brother, and I had 60 employees that I was looking after, alongside another one of my cousins. But I proved myself that I can live in the business world, but at the same time, all I ever wanted was to be able to do what I do now. So this camp, I conscripted, my strength and conditioning coach and my best friend Bassem. I've got our running coach Angelo, who's on board and helping us, with my sprint training and things like that. And my fitness has gone to another level. Obviously, Billy and Hussey have always been there pushing us, to get better. But because I'm willing to do the little 1%ers, they're able to give me more as well, because I'm there in the gym. I'm not dying. I'm not fading, like I used to, and I'm enjoying the little nitty gritty. And I learned to enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it before. Before, all I wanted to do was spar. I wanted to do pad work. Now, man, put me on the bag for 10 rounds. All good. I'm going to push myself, because I have a clear focus of where I'm heading, man. So I'm really thankful to all the people that have come on board. But, it's like, you want to do it for them. But at the end of the day, man, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to prove to myself that when you put in the hard work, watch how great you can be,
Yeah, and April 9, the journey to an Australian title continues, as Youssef, as he said, is fighting April 9 in the co-main event against Hunter Leone for the Australian vacant title. Watch his space, continue to see him grow as a person. Youssef, who else inspired you and pushed you to get to that next level? Anyone other than the family members mentioned that need a shout out?
Yeah, look, there's definitely been many inspirations, man. Like whether that be boxers, whether that be footy players. I love all different types of sports, man. What I studied in university was actually journalism, and I always had an eye on becoming a sports journalist. So, I've always enjoyed the other sports, and I take inspiration from what many people do, not just boxers, man, but your LeBron Jameses, your Kobe Bryants. Man, your Tiger Woods, who came back from pretty much, like he was finished, like people wrote him off completely. Yeah, he came back to be great again, and like for me, the people that have longevity in their careers, those are the ones that I really admire. Your Cameron Smiths, who 400 and or however many games, I think it's 450 plus. Man, just amazing achievements all around. In terms of inspiration, man, I really, my biggest inspiration is definitely my father, though, man. I know I mentioned that already, but just seeing what he's willing to do for his family, man, and makes me willing, like I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to be great. Like that's like I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to be great. It's I'm heading in the right direction, man. I really appreciate the people that have supported me, and hopefully more people can get aboard. This is the fight that is, it's fittingly the card is named Breakout, and I look at it like this is going to be my breakout performance. So, keep your eyes peeled, man.
A breakout performance needs a prediction, a bold prediction. How's the fight going April 9? How's it going down?
Look, to be honest with you, man, the way that I'm feeling, I really can't see it going past 4 or 5 rounds. I obviously watched Hunter's bout against Jacob Benji, which was rated as Ozboxing's fight of the year, and to be honest with you, man, I was impressed by him, by what he did early, but he also showed me many signs of weakness, and obviously he got taken out, because he gassed. If he's going to come out and he's going to try box against me, he's making a mistake. If he's going to come out and he's going to try bomb me out, he's making a mistake. I really can't see a way that he's going to trouble me, man. Like, and you never want to be overconfident, but at the same time, man, preparation leads to confidence, and I've prepared so greatly.
Mate, preparation is key. April 9, Youssef Dib takes on Hunter Leone in a title fight for the vacant Australian title. It's a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for giving us your time. Your final message to the fans before we wrap it up.
Look, thank you for having me on, Abbas, man. I appreciate you. I know that you've had some really decent names get on this podcast, and it's growing ever so well. So good luck to you too. And to all the fans, be ready, because at the end of the day, man, this is, like I said, this is a breakout performance coming. So keep your eyes peeled. And, I appreciate the support that I've already received. I appreciate all the people that have bought tickets. And if you are after tickets, they're still available. Hit me up on my social media, and I'll be more than happy and willing to help you get to the event, because it's going to be amazing.
Mate, best of luck, brother. I look forward to seeing you out there and seeing you lift that title. Best of luck.
Appreciate you, Abbas. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.